Okay. And so the purpose of this exercise today is to walk you through, give you an overview of the distribution for the main building addition. This first drawing here depicts the new service entrance switchgear that went in downstairs in the sub-basement level. All of your services originate from the sub-basement level. This gear right now, presently, or this institution was initially serviced from the 15 kV lineup in the gallery of garage. This is a replacement for that gear, all modern vacuum breakers, digital trip units. I mean, it's the best of the best. It is online, it's fully functional now, and the other gear, as far as I know, is off, correct?
Except for the 5 kV.
Except for the 5 kV, but I mean the 13.8 lines are off. Yeah. So these are the original two 13.8 lines that you had before. It's a main time main configuration. Both lines are on at all times. The tie is in a closed position, so you're never going to see the blip if they ever switch and take one line down. The new these feeders go out through a new series of duct banks going up and down to manholes 3 and 4 and pick up the existing. We were going to pick up the existing feeders, but they all were rerouted and replaced under the new cable project. So you've got all new feeders in the campus. Correct? None of them have not been changed.
Some are still partial.
Which ones?
Like Fegan.
Oh, Fegan, yeah, okay, yeah. So that's all that's really left to really be replaced. That's correct. Okay. So that is the new gear. It's like I said, it's down in the sub-basement level. And this next drawing, you got any questions on that? Anybody got any questions on this?
All our feeds coming from Maytep, or are they Maytep and Beco? Or?
You got Maytep and Beco, the same configuration you had before, same two lines. And this gear feeds everything in the campus with the exception of Main South and the CARP building. They're off separate feeders. Okay, nothing's changed there. Okay?
And we have, what, 2 feeders, one on each side, to each one of the buildings?
That's correct. You've got an A and a B feeder off either side. That's correct. You've got your main time main, you get your N-star 6, if you will, that make up the gear, and then you've got 8 breakers on either side, feeder breakers. I'm sure you've opened downstairs and gone through it, right?
Absolutely, yes. I'm just asking my question myself.
Anything else? Anything else on this gear? Questions? Comments? No? So that was a single line. This is a single line of the exact same piece of gear, and all this is really depicting is how we're routing the duct banks out and through the various manholes and the back feed over to the existing gallery of vault, picking up the 5 kV, which is still active, and it will be active until we change out the transformers in the Honeywell building and the garage, at which time your 5 kV will be retired off this campus. Questions, comments?
Manholes on that drawing all labeled with the numbers?
Yes. Yep. Well, this is not an overall site plan. This only has 2 manholes shown out here, okay? Because that's all we were really doing.
Right.
And then the project kind of evolved from there, and the cable project became on at the same time. Questions? Anything else? I apologize for the color. If you can see it, it's kind of gold, and I don't know why it came out like that. This is a riser diagram for the normal distribution system. So again, everything's down in the sub-basement level. You've got, after you come off the primary of the new gear, you've got 2 1500 kVA unit substations orientated in a main tie main configuration with an overhead tie. These are 1500 kVA dry types with fans, so you give you 1500/1995 kVA. You got dual primary switches on either end, so you've got primary selectivity. So it's primary and secondary selectivity, just like you have in the main building, okay? Fully draw-out circuit breakers. We come off of these, come over to the south end of the building, rise up on the south side of the building with the conduit wire feeders. This building was not big enough to support a bus duct configuration, so we went pipe and wire. Those conduit and wire feeders go up the south side, hit the stack closets up to level 4. Then they transition on level 4, head over to the north side, and continue on the rest of the way on the north side of the building. On every floor, we've got step-down transformers, so you're deriving your 120 on each level. What else I can tell you about this? We do have normal transfer switches shown on this riser diagram also to pick up your normal risers, okay? And also one for the chillers up on the roof.
Those manually operated?
Those are manually operated. Same way you've got them set up now for the main.
Do you have isolation on each floor of the 480?
Yep. So you got 480 on every floor, you got 12208, and everything is in closets except on the penthouse levels, where it's just sitting out on the walls.
What are they hit for the isolation? Just disconnect or are they fused?
Say that again?
Are they fused or are they just disconnect?
No fuse disconnects,
Just regular straight up
just the
disconnect?
breakers.
Breakers.
Yep. So that feeds that feeds the bulk of the lighting and power up to the floors. What else I can tell you about this? Any other questions on the risers? On this riser? It's pretty straightforward. I mean, it's a very small building. I mean, there isn't a lot of mystery to this building. The mystery was how we were going to fit it all in. So this is the emergency riser diagram. And here we tried to color code this so that it matched the colors, but for some reason the pen plotter was giving us a hard time. So we've got we're extending emergency service off your existing main building generators. Got a new emergency distribution board downstairs in the sub-basement level with your life safety, your critical, your 2 equipment branches, and your imaging transfer switches. There are 2 rotary UPS units downstairs, one for the critical branch and one for the imaging branch, similar to the main building. So everything, I keep saying that, but it's just to give you the idea, it's exactly like the main building. There is no main breaker coming over from main building on that. It's a full 6,000 amp feeder coming over. That was something that the hospital wanted. So there's no isolation cutting that feeder over. So it's basically an extension of the existing paralleling switchgear bus. Okay? So if you want to disconnect it, you can.
You can't.
Can't.
You can't isolate it.
Can't isolate it. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, that's the way they wanted it. Now, we had many discussions about it, but just so you understand that, there is no isolation on that. All your transfer switches are Russ Electric transfer switches with maintenance bypass. What else can I tell you about this? And all your risers follow the exact same path that I described in the normal risers. They go up the south side of the building, transition, come across, and come up the north side. So they're all in dedicated closets, so the emergency and normal are separated, physically separated. Questions, comments?
So everything in this building is fed off our existing main building generators?
That's correct. Yep.
Does anyone know what the load is for the critical in this building?
For the critical? Yeah, we have a load breakdown on it. Yep. Well, we've gone through it. We took the load readings that were given to us. We calculated our loads because we don't know what the demand loads are in this building yet, and we won't know that. So if you project out square foot wise what you've already got in the main building and the main south, we can pretty much assume that it's going to be similar in this building.
Will we get close to the rating on one generator or?
You could be. I don't think you are. I don't think you're as close as some people think you are, but that'll all prove out very quickly. But I mean,
Life safety is one thing, critical is different.
but that's priority 1 loads. Life safety and critical are both priority 1 loads. So, but there's nothing that says you have to have only 1 machine for priority 1 loads. I know that's what everybody likes to do. but you've got 4 machines down there. So if in fact you needed, you know, into the second machine for your priority 1 loads, that's not the end of the world.
I know.
I mean, everybody says priority 1. If you've got 4 generators, you've got 4 priorities. But,
They all come up.
I mean, it's ideal. It's the ideal world if you can do it that way, but it's not always practical. Now, it may be in the future as we enter into a new program shortly, and that whole issue will be tabled. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Any other questions on any of this? All your metering, I should tell you that too. All your metering on the normally in the emergency side is all going through what they call gateways on the Eaton equipment, and it's all tied in to your building automation system through an E&E connection. Okay? And I think that's all been picked up. I don't know if it's been completed.
It's almost there.
Is it almost there now? Okay. So
We have capacitor banks for this?
you do have capacitor banks in here. You've got two multi-staged capacitor banks, fully automated, down in the vault.
So we'll have a separate power factor reading for this building?
Well, you have a separate power factor for the campus. That primary switchgear downstairs is for that's for the entire campus. That's not just this building. Everything but Main, South, and Cop. So everything across the street goes away. What else can I tell you? What else do you want to know about? Anything?
How many loading? I mean, if all patients are in full patient occupy all the room and full equipment running, is it right now up to 7%? Is it 100% used for the generator or just only 80%? Just curiosity.
Say that again. If I
I say all my equipment, everything.
in this
running.
building
Yes.
and main building.
Yes.
Okay.
So is it utilize 100% of the
If it's-
generator
if it's all- no.
capacity or just
No.
like 80 or 60?
No, you're going to be you're in your third machine. Yeah.
I think maybe a little bit more, but,
No.
no.
Well, what's your latest load? Do you know?
I don't know right now.
Used to be like 2.3,
Yeah, it was about 2.3.
right?
Yeah.
Do you know anything newer than
There's
that?
other stuff added, Valley Pavilion, all that stuff, so.
Yeah, but we always had Folly Pavilion on that load.
Yes, but there's other additional loads that went on that
Yeah.
in Valley Pavilion.
This building is not going to be a big net add.
Oh, no, we're gonna find out though.
Yeah.
We'll
I
find
mean,
out
I'd be very surprised if the emergency load in this building is going to be that high. I really would. If you said, I mean, typically you're going to go 2.5 to 3.5 watts a square foot on your gen sets. That's what you've got in here now.
Mhm.
Remember we did the matrix sometime back? We looked at
A while ago.
yeah, we did the research building, we did the inpatient, and it came out to about 3 watts a square foot.
Yep.
Max, everything going. I think that was with your normal risers too, flipped.
Well,
So,
yeah,
I mean, you got 4 meg down there,
I know.
you know? But you could be getting close. You could, there's no doubt about it. I mean, if you're sitting there and you're going to say, okay, we're going to have a problem because everything's running, and then we flip all the fire pumps on at the same time, yeah. And the elevator, and the elevators are all run at the same time, and every air handler's running on a design day, yeah, you could probably have a problem. You might be into the 4th machine.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, on an average day, you'll never see that. You should not see that. Hmm?
We have load shed, right?
Yeah.
You know, right away, you would take your normal you take your normal
It's all
transfer switch.
automatic anyway. They'll shed the transfers based on loading.
Yeah, but your manuals, I mean, your normals you don't, right?
No, the normal ones, they'll be manually transferred over, but if you should have an issue with load, it would automatically shed the priority 4s, which are your normal ones.
Yeah,
They'll shed automatically,
with the force.
based on the loading.
Yeah.
If 3 engines can handle everything, you're just gonna keep on going, that's it. But if you have a problem with loading on it, then they'll start to shed off.
Well, if you remember, during the design stages, we proved that out. We took the loads,
Yeah.
and we itemized them. We come up with the lighting and the power. And our loads, design-wise, our design loads, they tend to be a little bit fatter than the actual demand loads because as engineers, we can only take certain demand factors. I can't use actual demand factors. And we all know that those demand factors that utility companies actually see and that you'll actually see are much lower. So I can take my load reading out of the bag and it says we're going to have 16 to 1700 kVA in this building. You're not going to see that. You will not see it. But those are the demand factors I can take, okay?
And that's all considered with the chiller on as well, right?
That's right. Well, that's your worst case scenario.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. Because we had to do that for Maytep because that was a big issue with the early discussions with them. We sent them a load letter, broke it all down, so. I assume we're within the parameters. Haven't heard from them. Have you guys heard from them?
They got most of their load on Maytep, excuse me, NSTAR.
NSTAR.
NSTAR carries the bulk of the load down there.
Yeah.
It's more like 5.3 or so megawatts on NSTAR. Maytep has under a meg.
Really?
Yeah, that's how they've been running since day one.
We never know what they're gonna do anyway, that's.
Yeah, well, it's their
That's what
option.
we're looking at.
It's their option.
It's cheaper for them to buy their power.
It is,
Basically what
yeah,
they're doing.
exactly, yeah. They're getting a better rate through the grid,
Yeah.
yeah. It's an interesting concept. So what are they now, just a hint?
Well, it's the stock market.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, no kidding. Any other questions on any of the rises, any of the distribution? I mean, as I said, it's a pretty straightforward distribution system. There isn't a lot of complexities to it. You've got life safety on every third floor. You've got critical on every floor, on every patient floor. The critical and the normal feed your patient care areas for your dual sources. Your life safety will feed up and down on every other floor. So you're sharing that. That's similar to any other, any other facilities.
What about equipment?
Your equipment,
Is the equipment riser?
there's equipment here, Mike. There's equipment on the penthouse, there's equipment on level 4, and there's equipment down the basement level. Basically, we put it exactly where you had it,
Right.
okay? There's also an imaging riser,
Yep.
okay? Which is dedicated to the imaging equipment only,
Is that imaging riser 440?
yeah.
That's what's backed by the flywheel.
Correct. Imaging and critical have the flywheel backup.
And what about an elevator riser? You got an elevator riser going?
Put it on the equipment.
It's all part of equipment, so it's not
Couldn't really justify putting in an elevator switch just for, I know,
just asking.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, no. So that is, I mean, that's basically it in a nutshell. Questions, comments?
Where's the 440 volt transformer? Is it down by the
Downstairs?
air or up on by second
No,
floor
it should be-
where imaging is? Location is it on the
It's right here. It's on the second floor.
second floor?
Second floor. Yeah, that was the place to put it. Well, you remember there wasn't one.
Wheels are downstairs.
There wasn't one originally, because there was just going to be 480, but then, do you remember how the discussion came about? The discussion that started on the main south building,
Yes.
and no, we want 440, and then all the buck and boost had to come in because it had to go 480, so we didn't put it in this building. Then it came back,
One 440.
and it, you're right. So that's why it ended up on the second floor.
Yep.
Or you would have had it set up down here, similar to the way you have it down May. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So. Anything else? No? And last, but by no means least, your fire alarm riser. I would have brought Chrissy with me, but I wasn't going to bring her for one drawing, you know. So this is just an extension of the existing 4100U system in the facility. Main panels, you've got transponders on every third floor. Is it third or fourth floor? Every third floor. Full coverage, manual and automatic, complete fire detection system, complete monitoring of your tempers and flows. This has a smoke evac system that's been put into place also with the smoke evac panel that went into the main, the ED lobby. Subsequent to this. This is an existing drawing, and I don't think that shows on it though. I don't know what else I can tell you about this. This is simple stuff. This is the basic system for the building. Smokes, no heats.
No heats at all?
I don't think there's any heats in here. I think they're all smokes.
You're all duct smokes too, right?
All duct smokes.
Duct smokes are all supervisory?
Yes, sir.
Shut down the units and dampers and all that good stuff?
Correct. I don't see any heats on them, Mike. I don't think there are any heats on the job. Patient room enunciators on the floors where you need them. Dual circuits for all your horizontals. Okay, for all your initiation and your signal circuits. Minimum of 2 per zone, two per evacuation zone, but each floor is a basic evacuation zone, so. These are small footprints.
Yep.
So,
Pre-action systems?
Yes, 2.
yeah, downstairs in the,
Second and 7th floor.
huh?
Second and 7th.
That's just those two.
2
Yeah.
MRIs?
Yeah.
And the Meg.
Yeah, but they're off the, that's off the same
Also
system.
7th floor, correct?
7th floor, yeah. What's that?
Smokes in the vault, sprinklers too.
Sprinklers down in the vault,
Mhm.
right?
Correct.
Wet system?
No, it's a dry. Huh?
I don't believe there is a system in the vault.
Well, what are you talking, okay, you're talking the utility vault? You're talking
How about
the,
the 15 kV room that you just...
no, there's nothing in there.
There's nothing in there?
No, it's in the, well, that's why, you guys say vault and everybody says electric room. It's not. Okay, if you say it's a vault,
Keep the money.
huh? No, a vault has a different clarification, so you should not say that, so. The vault does not. The rest of the rooms do.
Is there any FE electrical course that have a sprinkler head too?
Say that again?
Is there any electrical course that have a sprinkler head?
I believe they do. I believe they all have sprinkler heads. Yep,
You have that and a smoke.
yep.
And so, yeah, okay.
Anything else? All the equipment, all your head-end equipment's located in a dedicated room in the back of the building. 2-hour rated, all the way up, cutting over and back up. Same as the power, same configuration.
Is there a print with where all the diverters are for the tube system?
Should be.
Yeah, there should be
Be an
the,
as-built we'll get from Pepco.
yeah,
The blower's obviously on the 4th floor.
Whereas our 14.
Yeah.
Another question. Is there any electrical course that have emergency and normal outlet over there? Just curiosity.
Circuit-wise, they have an emergency and normal outlet in the electric closet?
oh, in the, oh,
Yeah.
oh, I don't know that. One of each?
Yeah.
I couldn't say that.
What about IDF closet?
My guess is it's just an emergency one.
What about IDF?
I believe IDF has emergency.
They have both, right?
Yeah,
I think it's just emergency,
yeah, I think it's just critical branch.
yeah.
I believe the electric closets have, I don't think they have critical branch, I think they're just normal.
Just normal.
Yeah.
And nurse call?
Throughout.
Respond to 5, different system?
Respond to 5 was what I understood went in,
Yes.
yeah. I believe he will be in later this week or next week to do his training session, or description. That's why I didn't bring that, because that wasn't part of our,
Just asking.
yeah, that wasn't part of our scope. But yes, you've got a complete, full-blown nurse call system throughout.
Is there any energy management lighting or anything in here, or no?
No. I mean, we've got occupancy sensors and
Yeah,
things
but
like that,
there's
but
no, like,
no,
lighting
global,
panels?
global, no, no. tough to do in a hospital. It's tough to do. We've done it. We've done it with relay panels in corridors and things like that, so you can cut the light. But footprint like this, it's kind of difficult to do.
You always have one person that wants something different.
It's true. It's very true.
And another question, the curiosity. I see right now in the main building a lot of floor is a green exit sign. Green color? Is it a update code or?
Shing doesn't like green.
You know, like
no,
green?
no, I don't say I like green.
Well, this no.
Green is good.
No, that's a good question, because that just came. That came up on the lobby project. We looked at it. Green was never acceptable, and it is now acceptable in the city. It has been for quite a while, and architects embrace it. They like the green color. Okay, but we were told on the lobby project to go with green. So I guess that's your new.
That's the new.
That's the new
color,
standard.
right.
That's your new standard.
That's it, yeah, that's it. So
We're not going to go back in and start changing them all, but as jobs keep coming through,
We have changed some of them now, that's
Oh,
what
yeah?
Tim's pointing out. Up in main building, the 10th floor, 9th floor, 8th floor, there's a.
oh, you are? Oh, you're going through and doing it in-house?
They changed some of them.
Oh, okay.
We're not changing this project, please.
No, no, but they are going green now, so.
Well, the question was asked if it could go green, and we found out the answer was yes.
Yeah. Yeah,
Everybody thought it was a building code or a fire department code that it had to be red all the time.
it was for the longest time. That's correct.
But I guess now they're accepting it.
Yeah. Well, it's like anything else. It migrates from the west to the east, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
They've been green out in the west coast for years.
Have they?
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
In New York, it's always been green too.
Really?
yeah, it's right.
Yep.
But it's funny how things stay the same, and then all of a sudden somebody gets, well, why not? Who cares? When you come right down to it,
Maybe get the economy going.
because there's always,
I like you thinking, yeah.
well, the discussion was always the obscuration rate, depending on how much smoke was in the corridor, and if you could see it.
Yeah.
And you go to some places, they get the exit signs low on the floor too,
Right, exactly.
because the smoke gathers at the roof, at the ceiling. So they say if you keep them down low, you can see the exit sign longer. So as you're crawling out of a
Makes sense.
fire applicant, yeah.
On your hands and knees at that point anyway.
So I don't know what else I can offer you, gentlemen.
Money?
Oh, wait a minute, I was with Paula earlier. Oh, forget it, I want film. We made a donation. Any other questions? No?
I'm good.
It's a wrap?
It's a wrap, yes.
Thank you.
If you want to go through floor plans, we can flip floor plans if you guys got floor plan questions, but
Take a look at one floor, sure.
From a standpoint of commissioning and whatnot, how's the building, what kind of shape is the building in?
Excellent. Excellent.
I'd have to turn that over to the commissioning agent.
Comment at this time.
No
No comment.
We're in the process.
How close are you?
Mechanically, we're in good shape. Electrically, we've got a little ways to go.
We got a ways to go.
What's that mean? How
A
much?
lot of it due to cover plates that
Really?
didn't come in correct and the like. They were P-touch labeled because they're having trouble with the engraver. They're working on getting a new engraver. And that will take a good portion of the stuff out of the equation. There's still other things for labeling they're working on. Correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Just out of curiosity, why didn't they go with LED lighting everywhere?
Well, at the time when we designed this building, LED was still
Coming out?
it was still being developed,
Infinite stage.
and
Actually, still deciding
It's
which
still-
LED they
and-
like.
and the
So
pro-
if we
and the
waited
problem
to put the
was-
lights in, we'd be sitting here in the dark.
and the problem was it was very, very costly.
Yeah, it's 4 times the price, more.
Doesn't last as
All our
long
wall
as they say
washes
either.
are LED in here. All the, around the course, they're all LED.
Yeah, that was the one caveat where we said that let's try a couple of sample areas. So it's just the corridors. But globally, they didn't want to do it. It was just going to be too much money. However, today, if you were doing the building today, there's a whole lot more opportunities to utilize LED, and we are using a lot more LED today. because it has come down a little bit. Not a lot.